Hey y'all, I am here with Lacey Tucker with Fairway Mortgage, and we were going over some reasons why an experienced provider, whether it be real estate or a lender or whatever, is important. And there are a couple things I wanted to share with y'all along with her. So yeah, here we go. So why is it important for lenders specifically,
right,
to have experience in the industry?
Right. So I always tell the story of why it's most important to have an experienced lender is situations. Everybody relates to situations, right? So I had the situation that had come up that I was dealing with a buyer that was also selling. So they needed to get an offer on their house and sell that. And they got an offer and they ended up pulling it. And we're like, whoa, what's happening? Like, we don't want to do this. And the realtor on that listing was like, hey, like, you need to come and talk to my lender. Like, let's just like triple check to make sure like there's not some issue, because she had gone with 3 lenders prior, and they were like, we can't approve you, but didn't tell her why. So anywho, she came in, filled out the application. We saw the issues that were there, and what's crazy is the simple fix was changing it from a 30-year to a 20-year, which was about $300-400 in her payment. She had room and was comfortable with that to get her fly-through approval, no issues, no problems, and all it was changing that year. Because a lot of people don't realize that when you go from a 30-year to a 15-year, 20-year, that the payment's not doubled or tripled, but it's that there's not as much interest that you're paying over the course of the loan. So it drops that total amount. It makes the loan less risky. You're paying it off in a shorter period of time, so the mortgagee is not holding on to it as long. So situations like that, it's really important to have a lender that is experienced and been through that, or is very creative and will make sure they try every avenue before just letting you go and be like, no, we can't approve you, pull your offer. So you never want to do that. So
every time I'm doing mortgage education, I'm always surprised on how many programs are available.
So many programs. And honestly, us as lenders, like, new ones come up all the time that you can't be like, oh, I know all of them off the top of my head, because yesterday they could have been a new program, or they could have stopped a program. So it's always good to make sure that a lender is going back and checking what are the available resources and programs currently today, because they change quite frequently.
Even well-known ones like T-Shack. I mean, during the high interest rates, they weren't even offering some of those.
And sometimes, actually, right before we walked in here, I got an email that T-Shack's going to bring 4% bond, which is a new program out there in there, or new offer in their program that allows for 4% instead of the 3%. So it's just they come out with new ones all the time.
Nice. Yeah.
So, and let me ask you, in your experiences, when or why, like, would it be ideal that you have an experienced realtor when you're listing a home?
So, preparedness.
Okay.
Marketing is your first view of the house.
Right.
So you want to have a trusted photographer, good description and whatnot. That description's not crazy important, but you want to highlight what the house has to offer. Your first thing though is pricing.
Okay.
So I have clients all the time like, hey, well, you say it's this much, like, what if we price it up here and try to, they'll negotiate it down.
Okay.
Well, that's not the best option. Because, as a buyer agent, if I see a house that's crazy expensive, they're not really going to negotiate for about a month.
Yeah, that's true.
Is my, thought process. If my client still wants to go look at it, then we'll go look at it and throw an offer in. But most of the time, they're not open. So as days on market continues to tick, the higher chance is, or the higher the chances are that you're going to be below what I originally said.
So let me ask you this with that. Do you find that if you were an inexperienced lender, maybe, or inexperienced realtor, maybe newer, that if your client was like, I want to price it at 600 and hopefully then I want 550, do you feel like those newer agents would go ahead and price it at 600, where like a more experienced agent could explain to the seller why you need to go more towards their ideal price point so that they're not
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
It's called buying listings, essentially.
Okay.
So you just want the contract.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll list it at whatever.
Right.
But I want you to understand the implications that are.
What could be listing it out of the realm, what that could mean, and what that could do with the market.
Right. And, like in 2020, 2021, list it at whatever, because you're going to have multiple offers, and as long as it's not exorbitantly. Yeah. But it also has to appraise.
That's right.
So if it doesn't appraise, then we're dead water.
Yep. And then that client can't buy if they don't have the extra funds to pay for it. And then the seller's like, oh, well, let's put it on the market again.
There you can go back to negotiation.
Yeah. There's negotiating powers. And I've seen that being a lender as well. But sometimes you don't have a buyer that can pay the extra.
Right.
And that's a big...
and FHVA. They cannot.
Yep.
So you have to be very knowledgeable. Like as a realtor, I have a large umbrella of knowledge that I need to know.
Right.
I need to know about inspections. I need to know about lending.
Yep.
Pricing, marketing.
Yep.
It's just
know a little bit about a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you cultivate relationships to people that go deep instead of broad.
Right. Okay.
So
that's fair.
I have inspectors, lenders, title companies. I mean, who you work with matters. Right.
And with you saying that, with who you work with matters, I feel like it's important that, if you're a realtor and you have a lending question or you have an insurance question, that, you can call that person and be like, hey, like I have a buyer, even if they already have a different lender in like my instance, but I need to know this question to like pre-plan, pre-game, and I don't know their lender, so I can't get a hold of them, or whatever the case may be. Right. Having that good relationship, like I'm going to say, Preston, let me look it up. If I don't know it off the top of my head, I can find the answer, because I have a good team behind me. So who you work with definitely does matter.
For sure. I mean,
definitely does matter.
I had a listing last year, and everything was going fine. We got everything back. It was like 4 days to close. You have to have docs out 3 days prior to.
Yeah.
I get a call from the lender, or from the realtor, freaking out. She's like, I don't know what to do. We can't get insurance. Oh. My first thought is you should have had that insurance during the auction. But beyond that, I go into fix it mode.
Okay. Right.
So I call the lender. I'm asking her, what are the issues? Why can't it happen? She says, well, I don't know if they keep sending me all these things. I'm like, okay, well, give me the insurance provider.
Okay.
Let me call them directly. Maybe they have more insight.
Right.
There were uncleared claims on the property.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is what they said.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I had all documentation. My client was an engineer. He keeps everything.
Okay. Okay. Very much documented.
Yes.
Okay.
So it ended up being that there was water damage or something. It was a roof or water or something, but it was fixed already.
Okay.
So,
and documented.
Yeah. And I provided the documentation. Well, that didn't work. So then I called my mortgage people.
Okay.
Or insurance people.
Okay.
And was like, hey, I need you to just run it. See what you can find.
And so anything we can come up with.
Right.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we got it fixed.
Okay. And being an experienced realtor was key to that, and having good resources with who you work with was also key to that. People that didn't have a stake in the game were willing to help you to maybe solve the problem, and then come to a solution and
Right.
possibly switch or not switch.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, we got the documents on time. We were supposed to close early.
Okay.
So we didn't close early, but we closed on time.
Well, at least it was on time, even if it wasn't early.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, people that it's not my fault or it's not my job is like my pet peeve.
Yes, mine too.
It's like, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, just fix it.
Yes. Yep.
And we are all working towards a common goal.
Yeah.
And that is to get the house sold.
Yeah, that it's not my job really gets me too.
And
Like, how you gonna say it's not your job? You're a part of this.
it's everybody's job.
It's everybody's job. We're all a team.
Yeah. So the job is to get the house sold. It
Yes.
doesn't matter what.
That is the job.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome. Well, I think that that's some really good tips for people watching of why an experienced realtor is key in the transaction.
Yeah. As well as lending.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah,
Awesome.
Everything matters. Who you work with matters.
Yes, it does.
So,
Yep. Everybody is not the same.
yeah, most
Yes.
definitely not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I hope y'all got some value out of this. Thank you very much, Lacey,
Yeah,
for
of
spending the
course.
day with me.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll touch base.
Awesome. Thank you.